I thank the person who created glasses. I will say that.
Amen.
I'd be in trouble. Seriously. But now I have the honor to share with you about our speaker, Mrs. Stacy L. Murray-Medcalf.
All right.
She's the wife of Minister Larry Z. Medcalf. And the only reason I'm saying Larry is because I have a piece of paper in my hand, because I normally call him Glenn.
His brother.
No clue. I didn't even, when he came up the steps today, I said, I'm not even going to say anything. How you doing, Mr. Medcalf? I didn't know which name to say. So, she's mom, Mimi, to 9 children, a host of grandchildren and great-grandchildren. She's the youngest of 7 children to Reverend Thomas and the late Mrs. Carolyn Mary. She's the daughter-in-law of Brother Bishop and Sister Moselle Medcalf. She enrolled in college at the age of 33, graduating with the honors from Ohio University with a bachelor's degree in psychology and sociology and an associate degrees in office technology. A member of the First Baptist Church of Burlington, and boy, did we have a good time this weekend, where she is an active member in the church administration, president of the mission, and members of the choir. Immediate past president of the Ironton Sub-District Mission and past first vice president of the Women's Auxiliary of the Providence Association with over 13 years of service. She is the co-founder of the Tri-State Ministers' Wives, co-founder and coordinator of 2 nonprofit organizations, The Cause and the God Factor Ministries Incorporated. She's a patient advocate for health resources, a Reach to Recovery representative for the American Cancer Society, a member of the Lawrence County, Ohio Health Initiative, a member of the Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce, a notary public for the state of Ohio, recognized in 2017 as one of the faces of Lawrence County, Ohio for her community work. Independent columnist with featured columns in the Herald Dispatch. She is a survivor of domestic violence, a survivor of teenage pregnancy. She lost her first husband to the perils of a drug addiction. A breast cancer survivor from the class of 2004. Her passion is helping others. She is an excellent, organized woman. She loves singing, music, reading, and writing. Her life motto is, if I can help somebody as I travel on, then my living shall not be in vain. Her favorite scripture is taken from 2 Timothy 1:7-8. So if you're wondering why all of this was necessary, you can see that God had a plan for her life.
Amen.
Jeremiah 29. Right. You better go on and prosper, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen here. I bring to you Sister Stacy Murray-Medcalf with her story.
Good evening.
Good evening.
With permission from Bishop Shaw, I stand before you here, always first giving honor to God, who is the head of my life, recognizing Bishop Shaw and thanking him for allowing us to come out tonight and celebrate our survivor sisters and those who have passed on, recognizing my husband, Minister Larry Medcalf, my church family, First Baptist Church of Burlington, and Lady Young are in the house. I want them to stand because that is a part of my support network. Yes. To support, they've supported me 14 years ago, and they continue to support a little bit of everything that you heard Sister Victoria read about. Now, some may say that that was an excessive bio, but I did it intentionally because in everything that we go through, there's a process. Yeah. And the process that I went through brought me to this place in my life today. Teenage pregnancy, domestic violence, going through dealing with someone addicted to drugs, and then being faced with breast cancer. I knew in the middle of my journey, it wasn't about me.
Come on
It
now.
was not about me. Because God did not allow me to suffer some of the things that I witnessed others going through that were dealing with breast cancer. He took me through it just as gracious, loving, and tender as He is. And I stand before you to say that God can.
Amen.
When He has a purpose for your life, He'll walk you through any door that He takes you to.
Amen.
And when you get on the other side, oh, hallelujah.
Yes,
Amen.
yes,
To God be the glory.
yes.
So just briefly, I was laughing with some of my sisters that are in unity with me that are on the committee. I can talk in 5 minutes and be done. And we all know that ain't true.
That ain't true.
We all know that is not true. But I want to focus on, when we talk about breast cancer, and we've heard the statistics, and a lot of times we go through, we've dealt with whatever it is that we've gone through. Life does never go back to that normal that you once knew. And in the booklet that I passed around, there's several articles that I wrote, and I think in all of them there is a premise that there was a new normal, and that there was always a degree of depression, anxiety, survivor's remorse is what they call. Sometimes people, we call things like PTSD. There is such a thing as survivor's remorse, because you see people going through, and in the line of work that I do, many times I get called to be there when people are in hospice. Somebody's loved one is getting ready to transition. And there's just that moment when you think, Lord, you spared my life, and look at what these people are going through. You know, it's almost a why me? But I learned early on in my battle, why not me? Because God has a purpose for everything.
Amen.
So just to share a little bit, John P. Key penned a song. It's called Life in Favor. Everyone has a story. Some of the lyrics to this song says, some people have seen what God has brought you from and don't really understand it. You don't know my story.
That's right.
You don't know the things that I've come through. You cannot imagine the pains, the trials that I've had to endure. In all that I've went through, God has been faithful to me. He promised He would never leave me. My story proves that God can use me. Deliverance is my testimony.
All right. All right.
You don't know my story. If you would lift up your hands. By faith, you may as well break out and dance.
Go ahead, girl.
I'm delivered. Here's my story. Life and favor upon me. He brought me out.
All right.
And that story rings in my spirit a lot. I said, He wrote that just for me. Just for me. Because we don't know people's stories. We see all of the after effects of things that people go through and where they are in life, and focus on what they have accomplished or how they seem to be basking in the glory of this, that, or the other. You don't know their story.
That's right.
You have no idea the pain, the trials, the tribulations that they've gone through. So I want to talk just a little bit about dealing with the anxiety and the depression and all of that that can come into play once you have gone through not just breast cancer, any sickness, any illness, any trauma in your life. And with the things that go on in today's society, we see that people just are not coping. They act as if they have no hope. We give up, suicide. We hear every day somebody's committing suicide. The thing that's going on in the news a lot now is we hear these pastors that are in positions that are saying, I can't do this anymore. I give up, committing suicide. But the thing is, we have to learn to face what it is that we're going through. And I'm not saying it's easy, but we have hope. All of us who have accepted Christ have hope.
That's right.
He promised us something. And what he promised, he will deliver.
Yeah.
He said he'd never leave us alone.
That's right.
But we gotta try him.
Yes.
We gotta try, we have to reach out, we have to have a relationship with him in order for him to help us through. So I penned an article in the Herald Dispatch on last week honoring Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And a piece of it is in the little booklet that I passed out. And it was titled, Find the Focus, but don't forget to focus on you. And it talks about everything that I went through with the breast cancer. And when you're going through, for me, I was diagnosed on a Friday. I began treatment on a Monday. That was in August. My life did not slow down until April of the next year. So immediately you have a support network of medical people, the healthcare providers, you have the doctors, you have the nurses, you have those who are administering your testing, your blood work. You have people that you trust because you're saying this is the profession that you're in. So if you tell me something, I can trust it. So you're in this mode that you are going through the process. And if you have a question or a doubt, you can pick up the phone and you can call and you can reach out to this person or that person. They can give you an answer whether it's right or wrong. But you trust it because you said you are the person. But then, the surgeries are over. The chemo is over. The radiation is over. I didn't have to have radiation. Some have had radiation. The doctor's appointments no longer are every week. Every 3 months. Come back in 6 months. I'll see you next year.
That's right.
All of that hype vanishes. And you find yourself wondering, how in the world can I cope? I don't have that person now that I can just go to. Whether it costs you $1,000 to see them, you have them. And now here you sit, healed, delivered, and set free from that terrible disease or sickness or whatever it was. And now all of a sudden, you don't have that network that you depended on for all those months and weeks and days, administering everything that you needed. Then things start to get back to what people say are normal. It's never normal. It's a new normal. You have to readjust. You have to learn how to live life differently.
That's right.
Now that you've had cancer. And for me, it wasn't about being sick after. I didn't have to take any medicine after when I had surgery. I was cancer free. I didn't have to go through the 5-year protocol. I was blessed. Very blessed.
Amen.
And I don't take it for granted. But God did what he did with a purpose. He gave me cancer. He gave it to me where he wanted me to have it. He took it, and that was the end of that story. Now, if cancer invades my body again, it's not the cancer that I was delivered from. But in all of that, all of the hype and everything, we can go through periods where we are feeling anxious. Every time we feel a lump or a knot, we're thinking, oh my God, here we go again. Is it cancer? All of those anxieties come through. And for me, I had anxiety of appearance. It was about my appearance. I had issues from the chemotherapy. I lost my hair. I have dealt with those issues till today. So appearance became a factor. I went through a period where I was wearing wigs, blue, purple, blonde. All right, first back.
Go on, girl.
But I was self-conscious to a degree. But then there came a point where I was like, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. You deal with it. And then I'm a big chicken. I don't like to go through nothing. I'm like this. If you put me to sleep to perform something, whatever you can perform while I'm asleep, do it. I don't care what it is. Just do it. So I chose not to have reconstructive surgery because I knew I wasn't going to be dedicated to spending the rest of my life going back and forth to the doctor. If I gain weight, I gotta go back. If I lose weight, I gotta go back. I didn't do that. I chose a prosthesis. So then I became self-conscious about the way I looked because I could no longer wear some of the clothes that I used to wear. Couldn't do the tank tops, spaghetti straps, back out, all of that. So it was deliverance, I was healed, but now I was dealing with new issues. New issues. When you go shopping, women, we go and look and we buy what we want. But when you have to mask something, it changes that whole perspective. So the anxiety set in, and I was so determined to be strong for everybody else. And I'm gonna go through this cancer and I'm good. I gotta worry about the kids, the husband, my mom was sick. You know, I had to do what I had to do. I didn't have time for cancer. But I forgot about myself. I forgot about myself. But thank God one day, he said, okay, pity party's over. It's time for you to know why I did what I did. Because breast cancer changed my life. It was more than just a battle. He took me through it so that I could be an example. And that I could be that ear. And I could be that advocate. And that I could get phone calls at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I just need somebody to listen to me. How am I going to do this? How am I going to face this? What can I do? I don't know what to do. But God gave me everything that I needed in that cancer journey to be able to be there for somebody else. Wasn't about me. I know that. It wasn't about me at all. But I wrote in this article about the Mayo Clinic. And they've done an article entitled Cancer Survivors, Managing Your Emotions After Cancer Treatment. And it says when you begin your cancer treatment, you couldn't wait for the day when you were finished. But now that you've completed your treatment, you aren't sure if you're ready for life after treatment as a cancer survivor. With your treatment completed, you'll likely see your cancer care team less often. Everything you're feeling right now is normal for cancer survivors. Recovering from cancer treatment isn't just about your body, it's also about healing your mind. Take time to acknowledge your fear. Grief and loneliness also can set in. Take steps to understand why you feel these emotions and what you can do about it. Got to change the way you think. There's always a fear of recurrence in common cancer survivors. This is common in cancer survivors. Though they may go years without any sign of the disease, cancer survivors say the thought of reoccurrence is always with them. You might worry that every ache or pain is a sign that your cancer is returning. But eventually those fears fade away. Though they may never go away completely, you learn to cope with the fear of the recurrence. It talks about taking care of your mind, body, and your spirit. Having that support network. There's several hospitals that have support groups. Reaching out to those who have already been through the process. Finding a common ground. Get a counselor. It might be uncomfortable at first, and I encourage all of the people that I come across to write it down in a journal. Sometimes if you see it on paper, it helps you heal. Let the tears flow. It cleanses you. It's healing for your soul. Be open about your fears. Express your concerns to your friends and your family. Stay busy. Get out of the house. Don't stay cooped up in the house. Be active. Go out and exercise. Keep busy. housework, find new hobbies, pick up a craft. Most cancer survivors report that the fear of recurrence fades with time, but certain events can trigger those fears. And that's true. Have you ever been in a situation where even not just breast cancer or sickness, but something traumatic has happened in your life and there was a certain smell, certain food or cologne or something, and you smell it and it just triggers that emotion and that memory? Those are triggers. Don't feel you need to do everything at once. Take the time for yourself as you establish a daily routine. Talk to someone. Lingering feelings of sadness and anger can interfere with your daily life, which can in turn make you sick. Depression can cause physical pain. Physical pain can cause depression. It is a vicious cycle.
Yes.
So just try to focus on getting to a place where you focus on being healthy, not only in your body, but being healthy also in your mind. And as Sister Victoria said, be careful about what you eat, because there are certain foods that can also trigger anxiety and depression. So be careful about that as well as keeping your body fit. So with all of that being said, I do know that I have a story. I do know that God chose me to have breast cancer, but breast cancer was not only it wasn't the only defining factor in my life. Everything that I went through prepared me for the path that I'm on now. So I say to you, if you've had breast cancer, you have somebody who has had breast cancer or any sickness, don't let it define you.
That's right.
Don't let it be what consumes you. Take it, run with it, learn from it, be there, use it to help somebody else. And if you're caregiving for somebody, tell them it's okay to talk about it. That you're willing to listen to what it is that they have to say.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't want people to know that we're hurting or we're weak or, what we say is weak. But we don't want people to see how vulnerable we are. But it's important to know that even if you have nobody else that you can turn to in the physical, you have the Spirit of God.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
And all you gotta do is say Jesus.
Amen. Amen.
Just say, Lord, I need you. I can't do this by myself. I need you. I need you to help me get through this. So as we celebrate breast cancer survivors the month, and we pay tribute to all of those who are going through, and we remember all of those who have battled, just remember, if God brought you to it, He can bring you through it.
Amen. Amen.
I want to thank Sister Stacy for such a journey and testimony
Amen.
of ministry. Godly woman. Godly woman. And she was always smiling. See, I did get a chance to see her when she wore the hats and lost her hair, and I was like, you just get fearful when breast cancer survivors or those who have passed on, they lose their hair. It's just something about, you just don't know. It's at the end. We don't know. We don't even know whether we have breast cancer or not. Maybe it is. But that being said, all of the survivors here today, they have a journey, they have a story. And I can't thank you enough. I mean, you have no idea the story, how you could just minister every day to somebody when they're down and out. You can look at them and say, you want to know what down and out looks like? Let me tell you my story.
Amen.
As a survivor. So I thank her. We're going to bring forth again young Chapel AME Senior Choir. I know they have a beautiful selection.
Amen.